Hey, this is Greg Berger, and you are listening to the Geekcast Radio Network.
Hey, it's Mistress Carrie, and you are listening to Studio 2009.
There's nothing wrong with your podcast player. Do not attempt to adjust the volume. Hello and welcome back into our studio. You are now inside Studio 2009, only on the Geekcast Radio Network. I am, of course, TFG1Mike, and joining me once again is that Dragon Lord himself from Kai Dragon Media, along with Kai Dragon Gardening and Cooking. It should be cooking and gardening, but it is what it is the Dragon Lord Kai himself. Hello, sir. How are you?
I am fantastic. We are testing this new mic for your show today.
Yes.
You know, it's going to be funny because I'm going to talk about the mic, but which mic are we going to talk about? That's the question.
I'm old and busted. You have the new hotness, so shut the hell up and just talk about your new hotness.
Well, I always like to talk about the new hotness. It's like Hot Wheels.
Yeah, exactly. Before we get to his new hotness, today we are celebrating. We should have done this last year, but we ran out of time because the year ended and I burnt myself out. Last year was the 25th anniversary of Mike Judge's Office Space. So get your staplers ready because we're going to talk about Initech, Initrode, tchotchkes, flingers, flare, red staplers, purple staplers, black staplers.
I forgot one important thing.
What's that?
Give me those TPS reports.
That's right. As long as I can fill them out while watching Channel 9.
You got to make sure you have a printer that doesn't work too. I mean that's a key.
No, wait. It was a copier though, wasn't it? It wasn't a printer. It was a copier, right?
It may be both. Most offices have both.
I'm trying to. I don't think it's too far away. I am okay. So, granted, folks, this is me being half blind as I am, trying to look at my phone at a photo that I took of the Office Space 2-pack Funko Pop of Michael and Samir. With the copier. Oops, that's not the right thing. Where is the stupid photo? I just took that.
Okay, it is a copier.
Yeah, I was going to say it is a copier. It's not a printer.
Well, still, they look the same half the time nowadays.
They didn't 26 years ago.
It's true.
And we are not titling this the 26th anniversary of Office Space, and we're not titling it the 25th anniversary, because we would have done that if we had recorded and released this last year, which was the 25th anniversary. It always,
But, did you want a fun fact about that printer? PC Load Letter is not a Samsung error. It's a Hewlett-Packard error message.
That's right. That's right. Which is funny because what do I have over here? Is this? I have an all-in-one printer, copier, scanner, everything, and I don't know what it is. And if it is what I think it woke up. Oh wait, is it? That says Intel. Oh, yeah, it is right there. Oh, 6978. So yeah. I could do PC Load Letter if I really wanted to. I have an HP sitting right here next to me.
Uh-oh, PC Load Letter.
What the fuck does that mean? But yes,
you never know.
That's right. Although it only takes 3 licks to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop. All right, so Office Space, 1999. Work sucks, according to the poster. As I mentioned already, directed by Mike Judge, screenplay by him as well, based on his Milton series of animated shorts that he did with the character, with Stephen Root, I believe, as well. Starring Ron Livingston, Jennifer Aniston, Stephen Root, Gary Cole, and a bunch of other people. It was released February 19th, 1999. So, yeah, and it is only 89 minutes. Literally, folks, as you're hearing this, We were recording this on a Wednesday night. I started watching this at like 6 o'clock. So literally, this movie is like so deep in my brain at this point because I just watched it. I had like 20 minutes left before we started the recording. I was like, oh, 89-minute movie. That's good. Hour and a half. That works.
The funny part is that movie stands out so much that I remember almost 85% of it just because to me, that movie was a masterpiece by Mike Judge. And the reason I say that is it's something that everybody can relate to that works in an office, and with so many office workers out there in the world, I think everybody's been there, whether it's the same boss or 5 different bosses telling you the same thing, or a copier or printer that doesn't work well, or those annoying coworkers, or that one guy that is literally Milton in the company. I feel like that was just a priceless and timeless masterpiece of his.
Yeah, absolutely. And it still stands the test of time today. I guarantee you talk to any people in IT or any office work, really. I'm sure they all have the same issues with payroll and this and that and everything else, and filing and TPS reports and cover sheets and having 8 different bosses come up and tell you this. Just one more thing, even though that's Columbo saying, but Peter, you got a minute? Well, what's happening? Yeah. And,
And the thing about it too, Mike, I was going to throw this in there.
Mm-hmm.
What I find was interesting about this movie is this is, how most movies in the 90s, 80s do not age well.
Mm-hmm.
This one still aged well, even with today's atmosphere. It's something anybody can still watch. And
but I would say, just like, there were, when Steve and I did Disney's Blank Check from 1994, there's a couple of moments, and obviously don't write a blank check for $1 million that you don't have, etc., etc. Same thing here. I'll say, don't pull a Superman 3. Don't, put the decimal point in the wrong spot. And they said it was what, $300,000?
Yeah, which isn't a lot of money in today's standards. If you look at inflation, $300 is like, why even bother? Granted, they weren't trying to do that, but if you're looking at today with inflation, that'd be more like 300 million, probably in that aspect, really.
All right, let's see here. I'm actually looking this up because I wanted to look up when in Blank Check, which Steve and I already reviewed, but in that movie, like I said, the character of Preston, he writes a blank check for $1 million, and I wanted to see what the conversion would be for today's standards. It actually went up. It went up to just over 2.1 million. And for $300,000 from 1999 to now, $568,114.65. So it only went up.
But I think the sticker shock is the thing that I'm referring to.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah.
Somebody would see like 300,000 today and like, what, nobody's going to freak out about that. Everything's in millions now. And that's what I when I think about that, it's like, so I remember you could get a Whopper or a Big Mac value meal in 1992 for $2.99. Today it's $11-12, maybe even more depending on what state you're in. So yeah, the value of money has significantly changed from the 90s.
Yeah, it really has, but it's also gone up, and it's also, you say 300,000 is chump change, but that's really nothing to shake a stick at, because I've only ever, and it wasn't even mine, Karen had $300,000 when her uncle passed. and we bought a house for that much. So the fact that Milton can go on a trip to Mexico or wherever he ends up.
It's Brazil, I believe.
Okay, well.
Which that exchange rate there, if you look at what would be back then, he'd live like a king.
Yeah. The plot does say...
No, it is Mexico. It is Mexico. Yeah. Which...
As they call him a gringo.
Yep. So you would make a lot of money if you did that currency exchange there.
Yeah. But
not so much today, but back then.
Back then, yeah. But seriously, folks, all joking aside, this is entertainment. Don't go out and try to do this at any of your jobs. Please don't. This is criminal behavior. They even discuss this multiple times in this movie about how criminal this is. And, boy, they talk about conjugal visits and all that other stuff. But, no, it's basically Peter Gibbons, played by Ron Livingston, just frustrated and unmotivated programmer who works at... Texas-based software company Initech. I did not realize I didn't realize the movie was based in Texas. Yes. I knew that it was filmed in Dallas and Austin, but I did not realize the actual fictional setting was Texas.
And the thing about it is, I think everybody gets frustrated. And, the start of it that always gets to me is, okay, he first comes in there and he has 5 bosses saying, did you get the TPS report? About the TPS report. About the TPS report. And it's like, holy crap. I think so many people deal with that in one way or another. And I'm just like, that clicks in there. And it's like, yeah, I've been there. I think a lot of people have been there. And it just feels like it almost felt like as if Mike Judge, when he wrote this, had worked in those type of environments. I don't know if he did, or he studied it really well, but it's so true. And then you have the painfully obnoxious girlfriend where he suspects is cheating on him.
And every guy around him says, yeah, I bet she is too.
And he still tries to be loyal to her, but, he's also fallen in love with a waitress, but he doesn't want to speak with her. And it's funny because the 2 guys that work with him are Samir, Nagin Najur, something like that.
Nananajad or something.
Yeah, who hates that nobody can pronounce the name. Yeah, I mean, that's just so true. As
Samir,
my favorite,
not going to work here anymore.
My favorite was Michael Bolton. When I heard that name, I laughed. I'm like, oh, God. And then when the Bobs say, oh, I love his music, but I bet you're a big fan because you have his name. And I'm thinking to myself,
he's just gritting his teeth.
Yeah, I'm thinking to myself, anybody that's named after a rock star and they really do not like the music, it's like nails on chalkboard because, everybody's going to say that, whether it's, let's just say, but if you were named Axl Rose and you didn't like Guns N' Roses, no, I bet you love Guns N' Roses because of it. And he'd be like, So I think that the whole part was funny.
Yeah. And again, it was the irony of the whole situation. As far as Mike Judge himself, the director of the screenplay for the person who created this movie, he graduated from UCSD in '85 and held several brief jobs in physics and mechanical engineering, but found himself growing bored with science. So he moved to Silicon Valley to join Parallax Graphics, a startup video card company. So he kind of has a little bit of...
He did. Wow. Okay, then.
About 40 employees based in Santa Clara, California, disliking the company's culture and his colleagues. So literally, this is kind of, sort of, not really, but a little bit based on, there you go. That works. That's awesome. But no, I love this movie. Yeah, I love this movie. I love the plot of it. There isn't anything in here that makes me not want to... Like, usually there's one or two things in some of the movies we've reviewed recently where it's like, yeah, I'm probably not gonna revisit this. I would revisit this in a heartbeat.
This movie is one that you have to watch once or twice a year. Or if you're frustrated with just... Even if you're in that field, just watching it to laugh and just think, God, my life is a comedy sometimes,
Mm-hmm.
And I think the whole thing, I really feel like they did really well with it because they threw in Milton, who mumbles to himself. And he's always, I want my red stapler. I want my red stapler. And the funny part with it is he was fired, but somehow there's an irony. Kept getting a paycheck, and throughout the movie, he kept getting moved from place to place till they finally put him in the basement until they worked it out. And then they took his red stapler, and I remember he says, "If you take my red stapler, I'm going to burn this place down." And then they take his red stapler, which was funny, and the whole aspect of it, to me, was it's also, I think, something for a midlife crisis. So the thing with Peter's not happy, finds out his wife's cheating, and he, goes to a hit and his girlfriend to try to help fix their relationship, which there's nothing fixing there. She's cheating on him, but he doesn't know. Goes to a hypnotist that ends up having a heart attack and messing with his head, that basically believes that he should just stop caring about everything. And so he just ignores everything and goes to work, and he just don't care. He's expected to get fired with the two Bobs, the business consultants that are wanting to downsize the company. Instead, they're shocked that he's just basically said, please fire me. I don't want to be here. And then he tells them everything, and they want to make him management material, which his boss, Bill Lumberg, who... I need you to come in. That I feel like there is always someone like that. I know a few people like that over the years I've worked with, and it's sometimes that just makes you go, oh my God, just shut up. But to me, the fact that he stops caring, and then it comes down to he breaks his cubicle so he gets sunlight. He comes in whenever he wants. He cleans a fish on his desk using the TPS report.
Yep.
And this whole time he's just like, I don't care. I don't really want to work here anymore. And he finally starts hooking up with Jennifer Aniston's character, Joanna.
Yep.
And she's having her own problem. She hates her job because their company is always talking about flair. You got to wear more pieces of flair on your outfit, and you got to be like this guy. Why can't you give it all and put more flair? And she's fed up with this whole flair thing. She just wants to do her job and be left alone.
Yeah.
And
from what we saw of her interaction with her customers, I don't think she was rude to any of the customers.
She was just your average employee that just wasn't rude to customers, didn't want to deal with drama.
She didn't want to. She didn't want to have to go the extra mile of having to be Brian. Ugh, Brian.
Well, and that's I think a lot of people too. When this is why I said that this movie is relatable, because a lot of people just want to go to work and just do their average job, do their 8 to 5, 9 to 5, or, second shift, third shift, and go home. They don't want to have all these pieces of flair. They don't want to go have these big social gatherings or celebrate or have this express yourself. A lot of times people just want to be left alone and just do their day job and go home and relax. So I feel like they did a good job portraying her character too.
Yeah, all of the character portrayals are great. And I'm usually not, especially now, in the current day in 2024, other than the big name cinematic universe movies like Marvel and Star Wars and certain things like that, I couldn't tell you who up-and-coming actors and actresses are today. I've seen movies with actors and actresses that I'm first introduced to, kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, or oh, that... For me, and I eventually want to do an episode of either Geekcast Radio, the flagship podcast here on the Geekcast Radio Network, or maybe this show, where we talk about how it seems like, to me, 40 years ago, when I was a child in the 80s, it was big, huge stars and big, huge, not just the actors and actresses, but the writers and the directors. And, oh my God, that was a this movie. Oh my God, that was a that movie. And I get it. We have been for the last, I would say, 10 and a half, 12, maybe even 15 years or so, maybe longer. I get it. We're in this renaissance of having to build that back up. But it seems like so many people in Hollywood are come and go. They just do one or two things and they get out. And, you don't really follow certain people anymore. You don't really... And the other problem is, and again, this is a discussion for a whole other podcast, so whatever, but Hollywood has the problem of either trying to create something new and stick with it, or, hey, give money to Disney or Hasbro or Mattel or whomever. Mattel ain't getting no damn money, trust me. But it's one of those things where give the money to all of them or to Warner Brothers or something to create something new with the existing tentpole properties. Steve and I talk about this all the time. It's a tug of war between what's established and creating something new. And I think, specifically tying it back here to Office Space, yes, this came out of the shorts that he was doing, but it also came out of his own experience. He took what he did at that computer chip company or whatever it was, and, years later, he wrote a script. He created individual, unique characters within that script. Every character in this movie serves a purpose. There's no characters that are wasted here whatsoever.
It's even not just throw in characters that you just say, oh, we're just shoving this one in here. I mean, everyone even had the one as, oh my God, somebody has the case of the Mondays. That you've got always somebody in one of the companies that is like this obnoxious, overly cheerful person that you just like, go away.
Nina.
Yeah.
Nina speaking. How may I help you? I'll transfer you. Like, oh my God, Nina. But my point is that it seems like Hollywood is such at a standstill of we either write superhero movies or Star Wars movies or whatever big tentpole movies, or we try writing something new and end up falling flat on our ass. And yeah, this movie had a, like we mentioned, I think we already mentioned this, but this movie had a budget of $10 million. It made 12.2.
So where it shined was once it came out to home video, it became a cult classic. Oh, yeah. It was one of those very undiscovered movies that you have that happen time to time where it doesn't do well in movie theaters. It doesn't have the marketing. It doesn't have the big names behind it. And then suddenly, out of nowhere, it's a hit.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Clerks did it. This did it. Empire Records did it. There are so many movies that I could list that were not as popular in theaters at the time, but have since gone on to be like. Even when Steve and I talked about the hell did we talk about in episode 1? Oh, UHF. I'm sure there's a cult following for. Yeah, I'm sure there's a cult following for UHF. You know, so, and this is another one of those where, holy wow! And like I said, there's not a single character in this movie that is wasted. Every character, from the Ninas to the Pintas to the Santa Marias, old joke, folks. If you don't know that one,
the old song.
Open a book.
Sing that in grade school.
That's right. But yeah, no, like every character, even Drew, even Mr. I'm gonna show her my oh god. And you're right. Almost every line of dialogue, it's so the software people don't have to, so the customers don't have to deal with the goddamn software engineers, and the software engineers don't have to deal with the goddamn customers. I'm gonna judge conclusions now.
And I think that was the really good thing with it too, is there was not a wasted moment. It was a short movie, 89 minutes, and it was to the point. The pacing was great. It was stable. It was steady, and there was no real lull to the movie. It just kept going in a good pacing where anybody, even with a short attention span, would definitely want to pay attention to it.
Absolutely.
And I think my favorite part still to this day, because I feel like so many people can relate to it, is when Samir and Michael Bolton find out they're losing their job. They decide, and Peter decides to take the printer.
Yeah.
They go out in the middle of nowhere and they just start bashing the printer, copier. I don't know why it's a printer. Okay, but repeatedly, just because to get their frustration out. And to me, I've like, God, so many people have to relate with equipment malfunctioning all the time. And it's like, we've made jokes in our office about, man, sometimes I wish we could just take this printer and drag it outside and just start kicking it.
Well, I mean, if you want to go buy a new printer, you could probably do that.
Yeah, well, it's a joke because No,
I know it's a joke, but I'm just saying, like,
because it's funny because once in a while you're scanning papers in and it just starts spitting them across the room, and I'm like it's puking it out, and I'm like, what? What? It's like Gremlins. Remember the part where the guy shoves the mail in the mailbox spits it right back out?
Yep.
That's literally what it feels like. So I was like, yeah, I can relate to that some days.
Yep. Absolutely. 100%.
But that was a movie that I didn't know about existing until I saw it on DVD.
Okay.
I got that one on DVD because I had heard it was really good. I didn't even know about it until I was talking about Beavis and Butthead. And, I said, I wonder what else Mike Judge has done. I was talking to someone, I don't remember, it's been years ago, and they said, have you ever seen Office Space? And I said, no. What's it about? So he says, oh, you'll like it. It's about, it's an office comedy. So it was $10 at Kmart. So I bought it.
Yep.
And really liked the movie, and it became one of those that I'd have to at least watch once or twice a year.
Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while. I mean, this is the first time I really watched it. And it's one of those things where I just absolutely, like, this is another one of those movies for me where like you said, you just know it. You've seen it enough times. Even though I haven't seen it in so long, I still remember.
PC load letter? What the fuck does that mean?
Now, it is on DVD and Blu-ray. It is not on 4K yet. There's a special edition with Flair Blu-ray disc. Oh my god. I'm surprised it's not on 4K yet, but yeah, no. I absolutely love this movie.
As of right now, it looks like, based on the information I have, The only place you really can watch it on a stream as of 1/8 is Hulu, Disney Plus.
Yep.
Right now. Sometimes it's on Netflix, but as of right now, at the time that we're recording this, that's where you can find it if you're curious.
Because it's a 20th Century Fox movie. I've found that with Disney buying Fox and buying Hulu and all that and everything else, there is so much more on Disney Plus than there was before. It's not just the Disney but you can get it on physical media too. The special edition Blu-ray that was from, when did it originally release? I don't remember. Blu-ray came out in February of 2009. There's one that came out in 2019 for a special edition. But that's what is this? Hold on. Blu-ray. The 20th anniversary. Oh, really? They did do. Okay. So 2019 was the 20th anniversary of the movie, and they did do a 20th anniversary Blu-ray. Wow.
As they should have.
Yeah, but that's kind of sad, though. You can get it for $8.10. That's ridiculous.
Well, it's the older movies, you're going to always find them cheaper out, and even if they re-release them, usually. There's rare exceptions, but keep in mind they're also basing it off how much it made in the theaters, too, and everything. Yep. Granted, I wish I had the exact number of how well it sold once it went to home video.
I think I have that. It's somewhere here. Hold on. Okay, I don't know how old this information is. Let's see, what's the service-based summary? That was from 2013. December 15th of 2013, so over a decade ago. On home release, it made $8 million in DVD sales, Blu-ray disc, and VHS. So combined over those three formats, it made $8 million. Again, I know that they did a 20th anniversary release. I wish last year they would have done a 25th anniversary 4K release. Not that the movie needs to be upscaled into 4K, because this isn't necessarily, oh my god, it has to be that crisp and clear. But I am a huge... If I can get a movie or a TV show in 4K... I'm doing it. I've got a 4K television, and if I can get it that way, I will get it that way. So I'm going to keep my eye out in the next couple of months, next couple of years, to see if Office Space eventually gets an upgrade.
Though, Mike, I was going to say this. $8 million really isn't that bad for something that made $12 million on a $10 million budget, and was with very little known actors other than Jennifer Aniston. And I don't feel like it was probably as marketed as well as it should have been.
Yeah, the marketing was a little weird on this movie.
Yeah, because it really didn't have a lot when I used to watch. We used to go to movies a lot in the 90s, and I don't remember much of any trailers or anything for this. And I feel like it would have done way better.
I remember the trailer only because I think part of the trailer was the first part of the movie with the car going back and forth. I think, if I remember that correctly.
From Mike Judge, creator of Beavis and Butthead and co-creator of King of the Hill, comes a movie about people who go to work. Who are part of a team.
And remember, next Friday is Hawaiian Shirt Day.
Okay, but I could set the building on fire.
Who respect their boss.
We need to talk about your flair.
Well, I have 15 pieces on.
15 is the minimum. Brian, for example, has 37 pieces of flair on today. And a terrific smile.
And need to escape.
I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm gonna go anymore.
One of these days, I just kick this piece of...
I'm thinking now it might be more fun to just get fired. And I've always wondered what that would take.
Oh, Peter, listen.
Well, it looks like you've been missing quite a bit of work lately.
Well, I wouldn't say I've been missing it, Bob.
That's just a straight shooter with upper management written all over him.
We're going to be getting rid of these people here. Mr. Samir, okay. Not going to work here anymore anyway.
You haven't been showing up and you get to keep your job.
Actually, I'm being promoted.
Thank you, Bob.
This is a suck!
They're gonna throw you out on the street so that Bill Lumberg's stock will go up. It's completely unfair. Initech deserves to go down.
We're just the guys to do it.
Tell me about that virus you're always talking about. The one that could rip off the company for a bunch of money.
I'm not going to do anything illegal, Peter.
Illegal? Samir, this is America. The worst they're gonna do is they put you in a white-collar minimum security resort for a couple of months. You know they have conjugal visits there?
I might be showing them my O face. Oh. They let you have sex with women?
They sure do.
Okay, I'll do it.
Office Space.
I know you've been getting pretty depressed about your job and everything, and so I just wanted to tell you good things can happen in this world. I mean, look at me.
And the funny thing about the marketing is Mike Judge hated the marketing. He hated the one-sheet poster that studio created for Office Space, which depicted an office worker completely covered in Post-it notes. He had said, people were like, what is this? A big bird? A mummy? A beekeeper? And the tagline, work sucks. It looked like an Office Depot ad. I just hated it. I hated the trailers too, and the TV ads especially.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at the picture itself, and it's basically Milton covered in Post-its with a briefcase. It says work sucks. It really doesn't give you that appeal. I mean, when you're trying to market something, you need something with, and dare I say it, with more flair. Something that psychologically captures somebody when they first see it on a trailer poster, like you see when you're walking at the movie theater, or, you know, on a DVD or Blu-ray. It was not, the whole marketing for this was really poor, because I think it would have made more money had more people known what it was really about.
Yeah, and you're probably right. And the funny thing is that I remember, because they actually called it this, the Sticky Note Man. Like, I remember when I got that pop, August 3rd, 2019, when they released it as an exclusive. And the only reason why I got it, other than the fact that it was going to be part of my Office Space Funko Pops, was because I never saw the poster, because I'm legally blind, I need to see things close up in certain aspects to be able to read certain things. Like right now, if there was I am probably 10 feet away from my front door. If you put a stop sign on the inside of my front door right now, I could tell you it's red, I could tell you it's white, and I know it says stop, but I probably couldn't read STOP at all. So that's how bad my vision is. So when I got the Funko Pop of the Sticky Note Man, and I got to see all the Post-it notes that were all the things like, print resume plus mail, get chair fixed. Like, I thought that was such a cool thing that Funko did, which was, I guess, it's also on the Post-it notes on the poster, so that they were essentially copying that. But I understand it. It's not what Mike Judge wanted. It's not what he liked. It's not whatever. But honestly, seeing that poster, seeing that tagline, and seeing the trailer, even now, it got me excited then, and it still gets me excited to watch this movie now. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know what Mr. Judge had in an idea for marketing, but I would say that even though the movie didn't make that much money in theaters, the cult status says, hey, the marketing worked.
And to your point, it probably did. I don't
know.
I can't tell you for sure one way or another. I don't feel like it did the greatest.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it could have been worse. Could have been. So, I mean, it's ultimately how you perceive things. You got to remember, everything is always about perception. How we perceive things can be different based on our senses. For me, the poster really didn't capture the senses or the eyes so much. And I feel like that is probably a failure on that.
Yeah.
I mean, but at the end of the day, it still did good. it made its money back, doubled its money basically. And because 12 plus 8, 20
plus
million.
8. Yeah.
So I mean it for that time, not bad at all. No. And to your point too, as you said earlier with the whole pennies, don't do that, guys. Don't try at home. Don't do any of that stuff. But it made it, to me, it was relevant because it was guys that were angry at the company and they were just tired of working under people and had a harmless idea, which is still theft, just like Jennifer Aniston's character Joanna said. She's like, oh, so you're stealing money. No, it's not really stealing money. We're taking a tenth of a, and she's like,
no, it's still stealing.
It's still stealing, and he's like, and she's like, but you're stealing, and he it was funny because he wanted to try to still justify it, and she's like, no, you're still stealing, and
pretty much
to me the whole thing was funny because then he's just sitting there thinking, maybe she's right. And even his roommate or his neighbor says, hell no, I don't want to come over and have you screw up my life either.
That's right.
I laughed when he said that.
Yep, good old Lawrence. All right, folks, getting into some of the cast members. Ron Livingston. Before this, I had never seen him in anything, and the only thing I see in his filmography for film specifically before Office Space was he was in Swingers. He was in he was Rob in Swingers in 1996. After Office Space, he was in a lot of stuff that I've never heard of. Stuff like Buddy. Have I heard about it? American drama film written David McKenna, directed by Michael. Nope, never heard of Body Shots. Two Ninas, two Pintas, two Santa Marias. No, it's just called Two Ninas. Body Shots, Beat, Rumor of Angels, The Buying Cow. I've never heard of anything that Ron Livingston has done past Office Space. Looking through his entire filmography all the way down to current. The last movie he did was Sitting in Bars with Cake and The Featherweight from last year. In television, he was in an episode of Jag in 95. He was in Band of Brothers in 2001. He was Lewis Nixon in Band of Brothers, so there's that. Sex and the City, he was Jack Berger. First 8 episodes. He was in Boardwalk Empire as Roy Phillips. And most recently he was in Pantheon he was Dr. Peter Waxman. He was apparently Pantheon's an animated thing. Yep. American adult animated science fiction drama. So that's Mr. Livingston. And then who's next? I'm skipping over you know who because everybody knows Rachel.
Yeah.
Diedrich Bader, before he was Lawrence in this, he was... Oh, God, where is that? Where is the TV credit here? He was he was Oswald Lee Harvey in the Drew Carey Show. I only ever knew his first name in that show. I never knew they did a very, 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 very bad assassination joke. Don't do that, folks. He was in, but Diedrich Bader really honestly is better known as the voice of Batman. He was voicing Batman since Brave and the Bold, throughout various things. He was the relentless security guard in Jay and Silent Bob, Strike Back, and the reboot. He was in Space Buddies. He's in a whole bunch of stuff. So I would say that while I agree technically this cast is filled with some no-name actors, between Aniston, Root, Cole, McGinley, and Bader, I would say that those are at least 4 or 5 ones that are pretty well known, even back
I agree
then.
on that.
Yeah. So, and then we get to, I love this. It's always so interesting to me looking at Stephen Root's character of Milton in this movie, because I've seen Stephen Root in so many other things, and I'm like, oh my God. I know he's an actor. I know he's playing roles, but you just see a character like Milton and you think, oh, that's what this guy plays. Oh no, he's been in so many other... Debut was 1988's Crocodile Dundee 2. He played a DEA agent. I don't even remember.
Yeah, I remember that one. He was the dude that followed him into the bathroom, and Crocodile got behind him and put the big knife to his... You know what?
Yep, that's right.
Like, literally... Like, are you okay, buddy?
Nope, not okay. He's... So many movies that I absolutely remember watching as a kid. Crocodile Dundee 2, Black Rain, Ghost, Guilty
Black
by...
Rain was a good movie.
Yeah, it was. V.I. Warshawski. Oh my God, he played Mickey in that. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer in 92. He played Gary Murray in that movie. He was in Dave. Yeah. He was in RoboCop 3. He was in Extreme Justice, Bye Bye Love, Krippendorf's Tribe. Obviously, Office Space. I need to go back and know I remember it now because I pointed it out to Chaos. He's Dennis Mansky, head of Northam Robotics in Bicentennial Man. I saw that and I'm like, wait a minute. This is 1999. What is Milton doing in the future in Bicentennial Man with Robin Williams? And a role that is so completely different from the Milton role. And I was like, "Hey, wait, it's Milton." He was Frank, Start Frank, whatever. He was those two characters in Ice Age. Stephen Root, man, and then obviously
he's been in a lot of them.
A lot of them. Another movie that turned 20 years old last year. We're gonna do it again. We're gonna do an episode on it this year. He was Gordon. In Dodgeball, a true underdog story. He was Gordon Pip. Yeah, no, I love Stephen Root. He's been, and these are just the movies. We're not going to go through all the TV stuff. And I remember him now as a kid watching L.A. Law. He was attorney Brandon McCaffrey in 4 episodes. I remember him. I was between the ages of 10 and 14 when that show was on, and I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
But he was in a whole bunch. He was in a episode of Murphy Brown. He was in, let's see, I'm trying to find other. He was in an episode of NYPD Blue. That's interesting about some of the film actors versus TV actors back in the 90s. Sometimes film actors would have a lot of films that they do, and they would have like TV roles, but it's like an episode here, an episode there, an episode here, an episode there. They wouldn't, whereas some of the TV actors would have whole series and not have, a lot of movies. Like, I think the longest running thing he did, outside of King of the Hill, I would say the longest running thing that he did, he was Jimmy James on News Radio. So that was a main role for him. But yeah, no, Stephen Root, absolutely love that guy.
Yeah, there's some of them that also the roommate, and I can't think of his name. Well, not the roommate, but the guy that lived next door to Peter. He went on to be in a lot of movies with Adam Sandler.
Yeah, Diedrich Bader. We just mentioned that. He's the voice of Batman and Batman Brave and the Bold. He was the security guard in Jay and Silent Bob, and he does a lot of stuff with Adam Sandler.
He was just when you said security guard in Jay and Silent Bob, I did not place that.
Yeah. Yep. That's Diedrich Bader.
Wow. Okay. When you said that, I was thinking somebody totally different.
Nope.
But he's almost in every one of the Adam Sandler movies.
Oh yeah. Yeah. He's one of Adam's really good friends. And I do not. So it's always interesting to me to see if they have photos of the actors or actresses, to see which ones they use. And for David Herman, who played Michael Bolton, You're using for his main Wikipedia article a photo from SXSW last year. Michael Bolton looks like a hippie now. He doesn't look like his clean-cut self from 99.
Wow.
Yeah. But he's another one of those people that he did a lot of stuff in Futurama for that crew. He was in Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. He was
You mean America?
No.
Do the Universe?
2 years ago.
Really?
3 years ago. Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe. 2022. 2022 American adult animated science fiction comedy film directed by John Rice and Albert. Written by Mike Judge. Yeah. Came out back in 2022. But yes, he was also in... was he in Do America? When was Do America? Do America was...
Oh, wow.
When was Beavis and Butthead Do America? That was the 90s, right? Huh, that's interesting. Because he's not listed in that. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow, I need to find this movie.
96.
I did not know there was a second Beavis and Butthead movie.
Released June 2nd, 2022, sneak peek. It's currently on Paramount Plus for digital.
Yeah, I'm going to have to watch this.
Yeah. And
I didn't know that Beavis and Butthead did a second movie, because I remember when Mike Judge said he was not going to do any more Beavis and Butthead. He was tired of it, and he switched over to King of the Hill and screenwriting after the first Do America. I remember he swore him off for the longest time.
Yep. Mr. I want to say Bolton, but I want to use Mr. Herman, David Herman, who plays Michael Bolton in Office Space. He played a character on Angel that I don't remember. It was 3 episodes, David Nabbit. So I guess I'm going to have to go back to Angel and check out, which Angel just turned 25 years old last year. I still have to go back to Angel and check that out.
Great series.
Yeah, absolutely love that.
It was a shame that it ended too soon.
But the ending was good.
Yeah. It was one that it left open to interpretation, but I know there was a lot of comics afterwards called After the Fall and all that.
Yeah, but those, they count, but they don't really count because we want to see him go out on a high note.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Office Space, sir?
Honestly, fantastic movie. If you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? Go watch it. It's good. It's worth 89 minutes of your time.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is when I like movies of this type. Is again, I've mentioned this several times on the show before. I will mention it almost probably every episode. So if you heard me say it before, just fast forward a couple of minutes. I like finding gems like this that start out at a starting point. They go through the plot. They have a midsection. They have an ending. I was actually looking for end credit scenes. I can't believe I was looking for end credit scenes in this movie. I knew this movie did.
You're so used to today's stuff where everything has end credits
Marvel
now.
has ruined us. Yeah, everything has end credits now. But like, I was like, okay, fine. And they kind of have a little bit of an end credits scene with Milton and things like that. And they kind of have a little outtake blooper stuff. And that's fine. Like, hell, even 10 Things I Hate About You had bloopers at the end of it. But at least those are just bloopers. They're not like, oh, you need to catch this to see if you're going to see these characters again. And if you want to see the characters again, guess what, folks? Put the disc in again and replay it, or hit the back button on whichever Disney Plus or Hulu or wherever it is. Just hit replay, and you can just watch it again. No VCR required. All right, 0 to 5 with half points on the Geekcast Radio Geek Meter. What are you going to give Office Space?
I would say a 4.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. 4, absolutely. That's
it's not a masterpiece, but it is very close.
That's very enjoyable. Very, very enjoyable. Absolutely, 100%. High quality fun. There are some issues, which really there aren't any issues in this one specifically, but that's just how we word our 4.0. But they won't ruin your experience. You might even forgive them on a rewatch. So we might have to rewrite this stuff, because we wrote the GCRN Universal Rating System, which is what it used to be called, the Geek Meter. We wrote that about 5, 6, 7 years ago. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out later. But anyway, that's going to do it for us. We're going to go to a quick ad break. You're going to hear some podcast ads and some other stuff, and we'll come back to close the show right after this. Oh, yeah, and you have my stapler. Give me my stapler back. Get those TPS reports done. We'll be right back, folks.
Deeper into a state of complete relaxation. All your cares and concerns are disappearing. Deeper and deeper, way down. Your concern about your job melts away. Way down. Now when I count backwards from 3, you will be in a state of complete relaxation. Your worries, cares, and inhibitions will be gone. And you will remain in that state until I snap my fingers. 3, deeper and deeper. Way down. 2, deeper and deeper. Way down. 1.
Oh my God, Dr. Swanson! Oh, is he breathing? Call 911. Oh, where's
Hello, geeks and geekettes! Looking for a podcast that covers a vast array of topics? Then check out Altered Geek Unleashed, where we discuss our thoughts on this week's geeky news, tech, gaming, television shows, movies, cartoons, comics, and more. So, get altered, get geeky with the Altered Geeks, every Friday on the Geekcast Radio Network.
Are you missing entertainment in your life? Welcome to Captain Ruggles Gaming. Whether it's guides, roleplay content, or our shenanigans with our collaborations with the 20 years standing strong Fart Clan, also known as Fast Action Response Team, or the Wrecking Crew, we have something for everyone. So join us when we traverse the cosmos of space games, survive the undead in zombie games, or just having fun in first-person shooters or random indie games. Visit us now at geekcastradio.com and youtube.com/@Captain Ruggles, or Google search Captain Ruggles Gaming. It's game time, and I'll see you out on the battlefield.
Hey Jared, I have this idea for a new show for the network.
What is it?
You know how I liked the 1990s comic book series, The New Warriors?
Yep.
And you know how at the Long Box Crusade we're trying to get the YouTube channel going?
Yes, also correct.
Well, thanks. So, how about you and me do a live stream show about the New Warriors? You've never read the books before, and I have them, and so that's a great setup. We could give it a catchy name like Come Out to Play. Don't you think that's the greatest idea?
Sure, Delvin. That's a great idea. Just one question.
Yeah?
Why do you have me dangling off this ledge, holding me by only one arm?
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll get it soon. I hope. Come Out to Play, a New Warriors podcast, comes to you live on YouTube every second Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern on the Longbox Crusade channel. If you can't watch it there, we replay them on the Longbox Crusade Network podcast feed, available anywhere podcasts can be found. We invite you to come along for the ride, or in other words, New Warriors, come out to play.
Shop Podcast,
a comic book podcast that actually talks about comics.
Yep, each week we open the shop up and read and discuss a comic.
Sometimes we pair that up with comic book movies or TV shows.
Or not. Lots of times it's just comic books and sound effects.
Oh, yes. Definitely lots of sound effects.
So tune in on all the major podcasting platforms for the Last Comic Shop Podcast. Or check out our library of evergreen shows at www.lastcomicshoppodcast.com.
For the best in science fiction, join Mark Baumgarten, Vicky Jakubowski, Zion Kiros, and Juan San Miguel on the award-winning podcast Marku 42's Universe. Doctor Who, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Star Trek, and more are all fair game with Marku 42, which has been around since 2012 in one form or another. Marku 42's Universe is proud to be a part of Geekcast Radio Network, the best place to get your geek on. Listen to us bi-weekly or weekly if we have a topic relevant for you, our listeners. Marku 42 on Geekcast Radio Network, a match made in a galaxy near you.
Do you like the Transformers? Yes.
Do you like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Do you like IDW Comics?
And comic book podcasts?
Then come check out Ninjas and Bots. Each week we look at an issue of Transformers
or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from their IDW Comics incarnation. We drop episodes every Saturday morning.
Just like the cartoons we loved as a kid. The show can be found on your favorite podcatcher and at johnreadscomics.com.
See you then.
On the Simplistic Reviews podcast, we talk movies. We talk TV. We talk.
Hello, Julie, what the heck are you doing?
Trying to make our spots sound more exciting by adding explosions.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you could have got the point across with sound effects, not the real thing.
Car.
Download the show on iTunes or at simplisticreviews.blogspot.com.
I'm sure your insurance company will cover that.
No, they won't.
No, they probably won't.
We're trying to get a feel for how people spend their day at work. So, if you would you walk us through a typical day for you? Yeah. Great. Well, I generally come in at least 15 minutes late. I use the side door. That way Lumberg can't see me. And after that, I just sort of space out for about an hour.
Space out?
Yeah. I just stare at my desk. But it looks like I'm working. I do that for probably another hour after lunch, too. I'd say in a given week, I probably only do about 15 minutes of real, actual work.
All right, folks, we are back here inside Studio 2009, only on the Geekcast Radio Network. Mr. Dragon Lord, promote yourself, promote your channels. What you got?
Well, if you're interested in interviews with content creators, VTubers, hopefully game devs, I do live streams where I interact with viewers, and I'm working on reviews and covering more news. Definitely check out Kai Dragon Media if you're interested in gardening. Eventually cooking. We've got over 100 videos on gardening now on YouTube. It's Kai Dragon Gardening and Cooking. You can definitely follow there. I stay very, very, very busy, so there's always something to watch.
Yep, absolutely. And if you need your taxes done, go somewhere else.
Don't ask me to do them.
Uh-huh. So, yeah, Mr. Dragon Lord over there will be back next time because in the 125th episode, we're going to do a double feature, double shot. It's Drop Zone's Terminal Velocity. So it's two 90s movies about skydiving. One of them features Mr. Tiger Blood Adonis DNA. And the other one features, who is it? Not Denzel. Wesley Snipes. Is it Wesley Snipes? Yes.
Drop Zone was Wesley Snipes, yeah.
Yeah, Wesley Snipes and Malcolm Jamal Warner was his brother in that. So Kai will be back for that. after that, I think I have a couple of Gamer Origins episodes, and then Steve and I are going to do a couple more movies, and then Steve and I are going to be getting into Tim Allen's new series, Shifting Gears.
Oh, he's doing a new show again?
Yeah, new comedy, brand new comedy on where is it? ABC, maybe it's on Hulu, I forget. But yeah, no, I'm all over Shifting Gears. Yeah. I'll have to have you look up the trailers.
Because I've always liked Tim Allen. I always hated that. For a while, it felt like he got kind of blackballed in Hollywood. So it's good to see that he's doing stuff again.
Yep, absolutely. So that's what's coming up here inside Studio 2009, folks. Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to get in contact with us to leave feedback for the show, there are several ways to do so. Visit the website, geekcastradio.com, where you can listen to and comment on all of our content. Plus, we now have a brand new Fourth Wall store on the website. Visit shop.geekcastradio.com, where you can buy all of our merch, like hats and mugs and t-shirts. Oh my. You can send any feedback. You can send any email to feedback@geekcastradio.com. You can check us out on all the podcatching clients you choose to use, like Apple Podcasts and Spotify and anything else. You can follow us on Twitter @GeekCastRadio. It is it's Studio 2009 for the show. I'm at TFG1Mike. What is your Twitter, sir?
It should be just Kai Dragon Media.
Absolutely, that's what it is. You can check us out on Facebook. Go to facebook.com/GeekCastRadio Network. You can also check out Studio 2009 podcast over there as well. As I mentioned, next time Kai will be back, and we will be doing a double shot of Drop Zone and Terminal Velocity, two 90s movies all about skydiving, because I have a few high school skydiving stories. Yes, what?
The only thing I wondered, why didn't we cover Point Break? That was about skydiving too.
I don't think I've seen Point Break.
No way, with Keanu Reeves and Patrick Swayze?
Yeah, I don't think. I always got that confused with what's the virus one?
Johnny Mnemonic or
no, not Johnny Mnemonic. Breakout.
Matrix?
No, not Keanu. Forget about Keanu. The name of the movie you're talking about is Point Break. The name of the movie I'm thinking of. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. Trust me, I love that movie. I'm not thinking about that one.
Okay.
There was a. We'll talk about this later. There's a virus movie called. I forget what the hell it's called, but it was in line with Point Break. It was in line with that name. I forget what it is.
Oh.
So yeah, next time, skydiving movies, Drop Zone and Terminal Velocity. For now, I am TFG1Mike with
Kai Dragon Media.
You'll hear us back in the studio soon. Start over.
Beep, that's all, folks.
Wait a minute. Let me take a look at that.
Well, you don't want that, Peter, man. That's toasted, man.
I think I know someone who might want this.